Hello, I'm Carl Seidel, and today we're going to talk to David Narkunas. David is a guy who's decided to run and help you people out who are in Ward 4. Ward 4 is having a special election on next Tuesday. And David, how is everything going with your campaigning?
Better than expected, actually. I knew that it would be challenging. However, the success I've had going door to door has been really impressive. I've been really taking it. Some people welcome me right into their house.
Right.
So I've walked a lot, let's just say, including work, where I walk a lot.
Yeah.
I walked in just over 2 days, 58 miles.
Wow.
So there's a lot of walking, a lot of door knocking, a lot of handing out my palm cards, introducing myself. And it's become basically second nature for me to just introduce myself to strangers where, looking back at my youth, I was terribly shy. And there was just no way I would have ever imagined myself just going to strangers' houses and introducing. But I have, because of my team, a lot of confidence.
Good.
And it's really a team effort.
We have a team going out of other people that are helping you, letting people know, handing out your introductions and stuff.
Yeah. So I've done a tremendous number of door knocking, and I've done some door knocking with lawyer Dennis, part of our team, and I'm learning from him. I'm learning from Corey. We've gone out on the weekend, and it's a learn as you go thing,
Right,
sort of.
right.
It's like an apprenticeship. You can't just all of a sudden be good at introducing yourself or knowing who to approach. I think one of the major things that I've picked up on was being able to almost profile a person and decide, is this person worth approaching? Is it going to go good? And I'm batting 1,000. Like I can look at someone's license at work, at my other job, look at their license plate, gauge the type of person they are. You see a V or a veteran, I'm going up and I'm going to talk to that person, help them, do their shopping, whatever, get their stuff in a car.
Well, you're getting to meet a lot of people, and hopefully they'll come out to vote. We have to. What are you hearing from those people? What is their main objection to, or what they would change?
I would say the big one that people are bringing up that I see a lot of more than other things is they're really upset with the indoctrination of the children in school. They do not want that, and even a young lady that was in my ward where I was door knocking. Her mother was there, and her mother talked to me longer than she actually did. And I think if you're a Republican, a lot of the values that I have personally, and you more likely than not have, it's across the board. They feel the same about a multitude of things. And it's like night and day when you're dealing with.
It makes you want to get in there and change it right away.
Yeah, because I know that these people want this change, and it's not just this person at this house. Right. It's people of the same voting mindset. They want this done accordingly. A number of different things changed. We all want it, and so I randomly took a different street home that I was intending to go home because I'm going to canvass the area and talk to the people that are pretty close to me. And unexpectedly, there was a turkey in the road. There was actually a turkey in the road. And I saw this gentleman, and he stopped. And then I said, this is an opportunity for me to approach this guy. We can talk about the turkey. And then, I didn't think I'd even see him because I was taking another route home. What were you doing? Oh, I was knocking on doors. And then I just started talking, handed out my card. Guy's going to vote for me. His wife's going to vote for me.
Very good.
It's just, that has happened a real lot. Unexpected people and taking advantage of the opportunities that the good Lord or whoever has given to me. Because I've really just lucked out with people who were emphatic that they couldn't wait to vote for me. Good. After having spoken with me a little bit.
I think we need a change there. In your award, you haven't seen a Republican since 2010.
It's been a while.
Yeah. So
it's been a while.
So we got to get the Republicans out to vote on that. Are they saying anything about inflation and how it affects their way of life?
Yes. I talked with a gentleman a couple of days ago, and what did it boil down to? He goes, rich people don't have to care about inflation. They'll be able to easily pay for anything they need. But it's the common folk. And a big one was discussing the issue with, community electricity. And all of a sudden, he brought to my attention that there's like a shell game going on with the delivery of electricity and then charging more and more and more and more so that they can just get this money for a Green New Deal, you know what I mean? All of a sudden, there's 4 Democrats in charge of all the surplus money that's going to be coming in from the electricity. And they get to decide where it goes to. And they're not elected people. They were picked.
Picked by the mayor.
So yeah, and magically they're all Democrats, right? Who would have thought? So the price increases has been something that I have noticed.
So you think that this will cause more people to go to the tolls in November too? And I mean, you're a special election, but that seat will, in 2 years, will be opening.
We'll see. I think that the people that are more keen on politics. In fact, the gentleman that was concerned about his electric costs going up said he was just looking online to find out when a special election was. But then again, he's more politically savvy than the average person. And so he says, wow, how serendipitous that you happened to knock on my door right when I was going to look it up. And I go, here, take my palm card. It has all the information on it. So a lot of people, however, on the flip side of the coin have said, you're lucky you came because I would have had no idea that this was going on. And then other people said, I knew there was going to be a special election. I didn't know when. And yes, I looked up the previous person and the dire straits that this individual is now. It's quite a, if you want some background, I'm not going to get into it, but go online and you could find a multitude. How did this individual get another chance to even run? I will never know. All I know is I'm confident that I can do a better job. And I really think I have what it takes to take care of this ward. Because having met the people, they're just like us. You know what I mean?
The person that first was elected was not allowed to serve because they didn't meet the conditions to enable her to serve. So anyway, without getting into that, but is there anything else that the people are looking at that's so important? I mean, obviously we've run into, I don't know, the cost, the inflation costs, and you say that what's happening in schools. In general, you have any other problems with how the state or is because I
would say I talked to a gentleman and he pulled his child out of public school, and he says, "I am not tolerating this anything." They're really keen on making sure that people know that this is indoctrination and it's not education. And I think when people try to get at the kids and screw up the kids and make them pretty gullible and brainwashable, they're going to become brainwashed adolescents, easily influenced by a biased media. It is tremendously biased. That's another thing that's come up. And then those adolescents who are biased become adults that are easily programmable. And I remember from our last interview, I talked about how the brain works, how it's conditioned, and that's some kind of designer plan, a narrative. We're going to do this. This is how it's going to go. These kids are going to learn about this, and so yeah, people are very aware that their kids are being indoctrinated. And then I even know a lady, and she homeschools. She homeschools all the kids. And she has like a remote type of operation where she can work from home. So people are upset with the school system when it comes to teaching, critical race theory, transgender ideology stuff. And I looked online just out of curiosity, and the definition of transgender from when I knew it years and years ago, it's now changed. It's like officially changed. And I went to NIH, National Institutes of Health.gov, and I found an article from just a few years ago. And now it's if I feel like I'm not a man and I'm the opposite sex, that makes you transgender. It's not biological at all.
No scientific way of approach on this thing.
It makes me wonder because I've read that people with multiple personalities have like 6 pairs of glasses based on their personality.
Really?
So if someone has a multiple personality disorder, can they decide every hour on the hour if they're transgendered or not? Do they go from one to the other? Is it acceptable to go multiple times in one day from one gender to another? Where do you draw the line of this insanity? That's my question. And it's not going to end. Not only does it not end, it seems like it's getting exponentially worse.
Well, years ago, when people wanted to, play act something, the kids played different things. I mean, but they didn't think they had to change themselves. They knew it was a game, more or less.
Carl, you hit on a very major point. I think what society has done, and part of the reason it's crumbled, is that it becomes acceptable to play make pretend as an adult.
Right.
And it becomes socially faux pas to accuse someone of doing this. You can't, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
And then they say, oh, my feelings are hurt, and then we're going to go to court. People don't know in Canada, if you insist on calling someone their wrong pronoun, you can be put in prison. You go to jail.
That's real bad.
You're in a clinch.
Yeah, that's too extreme right there.
Yeah, well, Trudeau is a communist, as we all know. He can make laws that work retroactively.
Right,
Remember when if you give $50 or more to the truckers, all of a sudden your bank account's shut down.
Right.
That's called tyranny in my book.
That's something they have to watch out too, because Biden has his ways of turning a digital monetary system.
That is, in many ways, the beginning of the end.
Yeah.
Because all someone has to do is a few keystrokes and you're denied access to your bank account money.
Right.
All of your money, any of your credit cards, like a burn notice almost is what we call it.
Right.
And, or I can just imagine another level worse. A few more keystrokes, you have $0.
Right.
And now you have nothing. Are you blocked from your money?
Right.
That where you have money.
You
have no money. I could see that very easily happening.
I don't see that happening here in this state. I mean, nobody seems to be pushing that part of it, but federally, you got to worry. But you're, with your technical background and your experiences, have a way of analyzing a lot of these things, that you test things verbally and hear about what things are really wrong. And do the people understand some of these things? Because you analyze the problem very well, and you see the source of it, and you would know more about how to combat it than maybe most people.
I think, I would like to say that I have a balanced intelligence and a lot of science, but then a lot of like legalese.
Right.
When I take those tests, are you left-brained or right-brained?
Yeah.
Right down the middle.
Right down
Every single time, I'm 50-50. Even if there's like 22 questions, it'll be 50-50, 11-11.
Well, that's great.
And it really, talking to, for example, one of the people I talked to had an issue with the dividers in Main Street.
Right.
And how those dividers took away parking spots in front of his business. He goes, my business has tanked since they put those there. And he says, David, if you can get in, can you have a way to fix this? And I'm like, how do we approach this? The restaurants are doing better. There's, even on the way here, you could see on Main Street, there's people outside, plenty of people. Good for the restaurants, not so good for the businesses that rely on those spots. And someone's thinking, all right, where am I going to park? I'll just go to someone else. So these people are losing money. So in my head, I'm thinking, we have to find a balance of allowing the restaurants, because I like eating outside, in those areas, but
it's nice.
I don't think about the consequences of my being there. So the hamster wheel's running in my head of how to maybe find some kind of equal ground or a balance between, you can have it here this time, and then it's not going to be there.
Yeah.
But then again, the logistics, how are we going to move these giant
and
blocks
how
and stuff?
they'll put the barriers up and everything. Have you ever been up to Concord? They did a redo of Concord where they had that problem, and they sort of fixed it. They've actually narrowed the streets by having, I guess, face-in car parking at an angle, but in between the cars, there's places to put tables and stuff.
All right, so they found that. I haven't been to Concord in a long time.
Yeah, it's something that when I was going to the legislature, they went through. I mean, it was a bad year when they were doing that because there's a lot of construction going on, changing things. But it works out. It seems to be working out.
Yeah.
And I think we need to learn from others instead of doing things just because we thought them up ourselves.
Yes, I think if there's a model that's working, it's worth looking at, maybe adopting it.
Or at least maybe modifying it for your particular needs. But I agree, you have to try to solve both. I mean,
because it really is, you flip a coin, there's two different sides of it. And it really was interesting having that brought to my attention. And I thought they'd maybe say something about, the school system and that they're teaching the kids all these. In some cases, they're trying to push books that someone told me about, and it was, I cannot even speak about it on the air.
Really?
But it was just horrible. I said, I can't believe that this. So I thought I'd get a lot of school stuff. I did get a lot of school stuff, but things that I didn't expect coming my way was the problem with, there's too many people eating outside ruining my business. So.
Well, the school stuff's very important. I think parents are the ones that really have to be involved with it. And unfortunately, a lot of parents just don't have the time to go and find out about some of these items. Both parents might be working and they have too many kids to watch, no family that can help them or whatever. But so you're saying you've seen a lot of people, and these are the prime things that should change somehow. Do you have any suggestions on how to change them, or?
It's when I think of the school system, I need to find out more about who sent it. It's top down. It's top down. Who told you to teach this?
Right.
Oh, it was recommended by so and so. What I don't want to find, what I hope I don't find, is a group decided. Oh, the group? This organization decided? Well, who's in that? Well, we don't feel like disclosing that to you. And then you can't point the finger at an actual person. Right. This is top down. Who told you to do this? Who told you to do this to this school and to that school? And we have to go to these people, directly to these people and say, what on earth are you doing? This is insanity. In fact, the word insanity, when I think of Democrats and leftists and liberals, insanity is the word of the day. It is the order of the day. I can't tell you how many times when I was knocking on doors and they go, I'll vote for you. Immediately, they said, I will vote for you because what the Democrats are doing is insane. So,
and sometimes I wonder if they even have looked into that. And, because I can't see anybody approving it once they know about it. And I think they rather say, I haven't heard anything about that.
And then I'm thinking, how do we approach the school unions and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Unions, it's, this group decided this. So it's once again, I liken it to the woke. Who's president of the woke? I want to talk to that person. Whatever. Well, we don't know.
Yeah.
But everyone's acting on the orders of something that it's an ideology.
Right.
And you can't, so I have to find the right people to talk to. And that's going to be one of the battles for a lot of elements.
Well, when elected, you'll be a member of the legislature. And the legislature right now is trying to determine what makes a proper education for the people. You think this is part of the thing that is going to be described whenever it comes up? When the courts have said you have to, well, I don't know what the court said. They said that the legislature has to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a big responsibility.
Yeah.
And as you know, what are we, within 1% razor thin margin between both sides, Democrats and Republicans. And I don't know how on earth such a thing, these things they're teaching in schools can possibly be approved by rational people. It's ludicrous. And again, the word insanity. I think one of the things I like to say, and I wrap up a lot of my discussions with people, is it's time to get back to basics. Reading, writing, arithmetic. as you know, the scores, the test scores of the kids all over the nation
Right.
are deplorably low
Wow.
in decades, the worst in decades. I heard something coming out of Massachusetts, actually, it was 30 years, or like the ACT score, lowest in 30 years. We're not teaching these kids. These kids are not smart like we
I mean, after,
for my generation.
after the medical problems that we had for 3 years, they weren't getting teaching. But now that's when that stuff snuck in. It's whenever you have a problem, they try to sneak something in that they know won't be
Right. What they're doing is
accepted.
never let a good crisis
Right.
go to waste.
Right.
And that's what they were doing. And the parents are too busy doing their remote
Right.
work. And then the teachers are going remote,
Right.
with the kids. And not only are they doing that now, but they're saying, well, we're back to, face to face. Don't tell your parents what we
Right.
taught you today.
Right.
If that doesn't scream
Right.
like this is really, really wrong,
Right.
I don't know what would.
Right. Right. And I think some of the mental problems too are something we have to take care of. I don't think they notice mental problems early enough on in a lot of people. I don't know if that ever was brought up by any of your people that you contacted.
I'm going to say not really, but definitely the developmental capacity that these kids, they should have a lot more. I don't know how to phrase it. They don't know how to read people's faces. All the masks, covered in masks, you can't see the nuances in facial expressions.
Right.
You know what I mean? They had a window of learning where they should have been experiencing a lot and learning a lot because
About people.
Yes, about the dynamics of personal interaction
Right.
was completely squelched, put down.
Right.
And these kids are going to be maladjusted, and they're going to be maladjusted adolescents and maladjusted adults. And again, I think this is also by design. I remember having an interesting discussion with someone once, and the notion of wearing a mask, you don't have to have a pandemic or a flu or anything
Right.
to wear masks. Thousands of years ago, slaves had to wear masks so they couldn't associate with other slaves. They couldn't talk because they had a mask over, and they can't smile. And it's a form of control, is how I see
I
it.
never thought of it that way. That's right.
Yeah, the slaves weren't sick,
Yeah.
but they still had to wear masks to keep them down, keep them in their place. So, I mean, there's a lot of metaphors and analogies you can extrapolate from that kind of situation that they induced on the kids. And the thing that really ticks me off is that kids are highly unsusceptible to the COVID-19. They almost never get it. Healthy kids almost never get it.
Well, and if they do,
yet
it's
they're
not-
putting the vaccine on the schedule.
Right.
It'll never be FDA approved. People don't. This is a reminder to people, this is not FDA approved, and it never will be. And you've heard of the VAERS website, right?
Yeah.
Vaccine Adverse Events
Right.
site. And more people reported to VAERS with things wrong with the COVID shot, more than twice all other vaccines ever recorded combined.
No kidding.
It'll never be FDA approved. It can't unless someone corrupt in the government, in the world, or the World Health Organization is going to push it, and they're shady as it comes. I'm sure you're well aware.
Well, the shadier ones are the ones pumping out the drug problems that the children have. Some of the older children, anyway. And now with China shipping in a drug that's going to kill them, what do you think about the drug problem here in Nashua?
Bad.
And
It's growing worse. I think I think crime is increasing, and the drug use is increasing. And I actually just talked with someone recently, and people die of overdose. It happens. It definitely happens.
You think that's going to be affected if we allow people to buy some certain drugs that are, I don't know, something that right now is causing a lot of problems and could be contaminated with fentanyl?
It's how do we control this? It's really hard because people they're lacing it and they're putting it in everything, it seems, how do we stop this? You got to teach your kids that drugs are bad. Don't try to, and you don't know what you're getting. You don't know what you're getting, and you could wind up dead. And it
is
seems,
that to be taught in the schools?
I think it should be drug education.
Yeah, that should be a prime thing.
I mean, I think if they have someone come into class and say, my mother died of an overdose, or maybe if they had a mature-ish, say it's a 12-year-old schoolroom.
Right.
They have a 12-year-old their age come in and tell them how their brother, who was like 16 or 17, died. That would have a strong effect, because the children would identify based on the age, and that could very easily be.
So that's something that they should get early on, and we should give it a bigger dose, if you will.
Yes, right. Play on words there. It's something that should be, I think protecting the children and protecting the parents who want to protect their children is very important.
Very good.
Very important.
Well, we're running out of time. I want to have you back when you get elected. But we can talk about that. I think you got a number of things that, if elected, would be effective on our legislation, whether it's the state or the local elections. So congratulations on your getting out there, and good luck.
Thanks a lot, Carl.
Okay?
Sure.
Nice.